I'm from Guarda Wallet, and my guest is Nick Pelecanos, NEM Head of Trading. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Greg. How's it going?
Yeah, that's all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks. Yeah.
Right, great. So we have quite a lot of questions from our users, but first of all, I just want to let everybody know that you can win 100 XEM for a question. Guys, just don't hesitate to ask a question on our social networks. Here are they. Look at them. So my first question to you actually about your background. Probably you can say some words about yourself. I know you have a really interesting story.
Yeah. So I sort of have been in the space for some time now. I was fortunate enough to kind of come in early days when I was in uni, and sort of since then, have just as the market's gone up, I've sort of, obviously I've gotten older, so I had to start working, and I knew about crypto, so I just started a business in crypto. NEM, like doing various different things, mainly primary and secondary market transactions. So like helping companies raise capital and helping sort of move capital through sort of illiquid markets, and then sort of started a fund. And then moved into working with NEM, and sort of doing the same stuff. So I'm the head of trading for the NEM ecosystem. That involves me sort of managing our internal portfolio, and sort of looking after things like market making and whatnot.
Great. Okay. Actually, as a head of trading, so probably we can ask you something about the market, but probably a bit later. Yeah, I just want to come back to NEM, and could you please tell us about the difference between XEM, and your token?
Yeah, so NEM is a two-chain ecosystem. For a long time, it was just the NIS one chain with the XEM token, and then this year we released the symbol blockchain with the XYM token, and essentially they sort of have two different consensus algorithms. The NIS one chain has sort of proof of importance, so it's really good for voting and reputation, whereas the the symbol blockchain is good for tokenization. So the symbol blockchain was initially meant to be called Catapult. That was like its working title, and as it was going to initially be an upgrade on the NIS one chain, but as it sort of developed, it made more sense to run it as a brand new chain. And then we've got two tokens, XEM XYM, but we also have the stakes token, stXEM and stXYM, which essentially gives you the staking reward, and it's an ERC20 version, so it allows sort of holders to stake their NEM participants in the NEM ecosystem to stake their tokens, and then participate in stuff like DeFi.
We had a question from a user regarding your token. Do you have a token burning plan to increase token value and attract investors and to invest in it?
Yeah, so not currently. There's talks about sort of what will happen. So we're a two-chain ecosystem, like I said, and as we sort of architect how exactly that's going to work, burning tokens is definitely an option for either one of those chains. So there's no current plans, and if there were current plans, that would be made public. We're a decentralized ecosystem, so we make decisions as a community, but that also means if you're in the community, you can put a suggestion forward, and it could be accepted.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just want to let everybody know that, yeah, please leave your comments, and we just switched on our chat, and you can ask different questions to Nick. Different kind of question regarding NEM and regarding marketing, regarding the market and so on. So please do that. And if you left the question already, so please do that again. So Nick, what about the everyday use of NEM? So probably you can comment on that.
So I mean, everyday use is like, if you're building an application on there, that's, I guess, everyday use. It's not like a specialized blockchain that can only be used in certain circumstances. Both of the blockchains, XEM and XYM, can be used in multiple different use cases. So I mean, day-to-day use is just like any sort of blockchain, I guess, whatever application you want to use it for. One thing I will say is, a lot of people, when they want to build an application, don't necessarily look at what can each blockchain offer that's like the nuances between the chains. And most people sort of will build on Ethereum. But I think as the space matures and people have sort of specialized applications they want to build, they will, they look more into the consensus algorithm. So the stuff we see built on sort of the existing NIS1 chain, and sort of the applications with, well, NIS1 chain is more specifically around sort of that proof of importance algorithm, so like voting and whatnot. Whereas on Symbol, we expect to see more tokenization going on.
Yeah, I would just like to add that right now you can get NEM on Guarda Wallet, but probably in the nearest future. So you'll have an access to Symbol, and you also have an access to the token. So it's not a problem. So just download Guarda Wallet, and you can get it. So this one, I just want to show you the question. The first question from our live stream: what is the utility of your native token?
Yeah, so the utility of both the tokens is, it's the value transfer mechanism on the blockchain. So, each blockchain has its own token, and XEM and XYM are the tokens for the respective chains.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to ask you the question from our social networks about the contribution. So what's the key contribution of them to the mainstream adoption of digital payments? Are there any current initiatives in regarding to possible partnerships, applications being placed on the XEM blockchain?
So what was that payments on the XEM blockchain, was it?
About payments, let me check once more. What's the key contribution of them to the mainstream adoption of digital payments?
Yeah. Well, I mean, both blockchains are quick and fast, right? So in terms of payments, they can be used, if they can be used as payments blockchains, if that's sort of how you want to use it, throughout Asia and Europe, there's multiple vendors who will accept XEM, and there's lots of those vendors are now bringing on XYM. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of options to use it as a payment token.
Good. Okay. Yeah, we have another question from our users on live stream, but let me come back to your professional topic. Actually, you're head of trading, right? So probably you can comment on the current situation, whether it's like bearish or bullish. But I just want to have a disclaimer, so it's not a financial advice, guys. It's just a personal opinion of our guest. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm not giving financial advice. So, I mean, I think the best way to sort of understand what's going on in the market is, like, I always have like a top-down view. So I'll like think about what is the macroeconomic environment, and then I'll work that down through to what does the chart look like. What's going on at the moment, and has been going on since COVID, is you've had a lot of money printing, right? And this has caused inflation concerns, and inflation concerns has driven a lot of money from sort of more traditional funds into crypto as an inflation hedge, right? And that's kind of what kickstarted the massive growth we saw, you know, since like March 2020. But you know, when you're investing in a market, one of the core sort of pillars of like a stable investment is an efficient and rational market, right? And the fact is, you know, probably since about March, the sort of logic of the average investor in the space has gone from sort of rational to irrational, and you've had frenzies, right? So people talk about tulip mania. Well, we've had meme coin mania, right? You've had people buying any meme coin that doesn't necessarily have any sort of real use case or value. And that scares a lot of people off, right? You know, when you start seeing, because then you start getting this greater fool theory, you know, it's like someone's just buying because another fool's going to buy it at a higher price. And that's exactly what happened. And that's why you had such a big collapse. You had people who were sort of looking at the space, investing in the space, start to hedge out because they just thought it was quite obvious that it had gone into a bubble and it had become irrational. And you know, you never want to be too long in a space like that for too long. So you need to start hedging. Exactly what we saw. So you saw a lot of the big money start to hedge and sell, and you had a slowdown in new entrants, and that's essentially what sort of caused the market to top. You still have the strong fundamental background of inflation, and you still have sort of like where crypto is in general in the technology adoption cycle is sort of coming into the mainstream now. So you'd expect a sort of longer cycle. The only thing is it will be balanced with sort of these manias. The more that people want to buy a dog named, like, you know, not just Doge, fair enough. But when you had things like Shiba Inu and then Australian Safe Shepherd or whatever it was, you know, just things got too overheated. And also, when you look at NFTs, like this is a great tell if anyone who's sort of, you know, in markets in general. When you have art markets begin to have rapid climbs, and this is just art markets in general, generally signals the top of the market. So if you go through and you get like you can get sort of prices on sort of of antiques, arts, and collectibles, and you map them against PMI, you'll see a pretty close correlation. But also, if you think about just crypto in general, towards the end of the bubble in 2017 and start of 2018, you had crypto kitties explode, right? And people were buying these literally pictures of cats for like $150,000, right? That's not a rational use of capital either. And, you know, what preceded that was a big sell-off, right? So what followed was a big sell-off. And again, we saw that here. You had this NFT mania, people buying things for prices they shouldn't be. And yeah, I mean, it's a topping signal. So you had a sell-off. And I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. You need to shake out a lot of these irrational players. So I'm all for that. Because, you know, it means we'll have longer term sustained growth, which is better than these short spikes. Short spikes are great to make money, but they also attract a lot of people to the market that shouldn't be in the market. So yeah, I mean, we could sort of bounce, we could sell off more when it's in situations like this where you have a lot of irrational players. You just need to play it sort of day by day. You can't really take too many sort of longer term positions. You know, just swing trading here for me has been a good option, just playing the range. But I don't want to be holding any long positions where I'm just going to leave them for like a couple of months yet, until we get some clarity around the direction.
Can I ask you, just to be clear, do you think that the whole market is irrational, or just only some parts of it? Or?
No, so look, it's definitely worse in some parts, but the fact is it carries through the whole space. And, you know, it's not just crypto that sort of is going into this mania phase. It's across all markets, except because of the smaller market cap of crypto, it got tossed around easier by this irrationality. You know, the best way I like to think about sort of is the space in a bubble or not, is the money being deployed into projects used for, I mean, is that an efficient deployment of capital? So if you have a project that is going to be doing some sort of ultra fast transactions, raising money on ETH, well, anyone who's clued up knows that that's probably not going to work. So why would you invest in it? And does it and should it deserve the valuation it's getting? I.e., I think about it in terms of utility of a product versus its value. And if I believe that the value is too much for its utility, then I'd say that we're probably in a bubble. You know, like you said, is the whole thing in a bubble? Is it all in a mania? I did say, like, you know, the main thing, yes, that's irrational. Now, BTC, right?
Yep.
The argument for BTC being like sort of digital gold and this inflation hedge is actually a very valuable. I mean, gives it quite a high valuation, and I do think that you know, the valuation of BTC and sort of other major cryptos is going to be a lot higher than it is now. And you know, I am viewing this as a good opportunity to buy when I feel that it's a good, you know, I've been swing trading, but when I feel like it's a proper time to go long, I will be very happy to go all long, because I still believe that, you know, besides all the madness of, you know, you got to buy the latest meme coin, these crypto is like a revolutionary, and the valuation for these projects will be a lot higher than it is now.
Yeah, thank you. But still, you just had some comments on Bitcoin, right? And also you mentioned COVID. I have a question to you actually regarding NEM and COVID. Can I ask you? Look, the question from our user, COVID-19 has slowed many economies around the world, but as a crypto business, has it affected negatively or positively? I mean, for NEM.
Yeah, so you know, we're decentralized, so everyone's sort of working from remote areas, locations. So, you know, it didn't really affect us at all. The only thing is we can't travel to see each other. I missed out on BTC Miami, but by the looks of it, it was a circus anyway. So, you know, not the end of the world. But yeah, it's mainly the traveling. You know, a lot of that I've only really seen in person from our team, Ian, since COVID started, because he lives in London as well. So yeah, it's just been, yeah, you know, in terms of working, it's been fine. You know, we've managed to release the Symbol blockchain, which, like, you know, awareness is still raising, but what Symbol is actually revolutionary in itself, and it's the more that as it starts to sort of mature and people use it, you know, the whole market will catch on to what we've actually put out, and we put that out during a pandemic. So, you know, in terms of has it been bad? Well, no, not really. You know, anyone who's been in crypto will probably say business has been great since COVID started. So yeah.
Good. You mentioned BTC Miami. So what's your personal opinion on that event? Look, I'm asking because there are quite a lot of memes on it, you know. So what do you think about that?
So I remember, you know, like going to conferences during the bubble of 2017 and early 2018. And you know, it was like a circus. I remember just being there. And I was calling it like I wasn't consciously calling it a festival, but it felt like a festival to me because I was constantly getting drunk at a party, and there was there was business to be done, but in terms of sort of the real thought leadership, it was kind of lacking. And you know, I'm sure, like, I wasn't at BTC Miami. I didn't really watch it. I don't know if it was live streamed or not, but I'm sure there was proper, like, intelligent people there discussing important topics. But unfortunately, what sort of dropped through was sort of just this really sort of embarrassing stuff, which actually gives the whole space a bad name, and you know, makes us all seem like we're in this circus of that just went on in BTC Miami. Yeah, it would have been fun to be there. Don't get me wrong. I'm still jealous I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But you know, when you see this, like when you see the videos, it's like, is this a serious industry? And then, you know, take that back. If you're a hedge fund manager and you've just deployed several $1 billion into the space, are you going to feel comfortable knowing that these are the characters who are the thought leaders in the space? Probably not, right? You probably want to sell. So again, it's all of this stuff is like negative in my mind. It's not good. And, you know, we'll see that reflected in I mean, how did the price trade during and after BTC Miami? You had a bit of a rally in anticipation of an announcement. You got the El Salvador announcement, which is actually huge. I mean, you know, even though it's a small economy, it's what they're doing. It's what they could be starting here, like the domino effect. But, you know, I don't think it was positive, like in terms of visuals of what the space is. So, yeah, pros and cons. I would have liked to have seen more videos of like, you know, people talking about issues in the space and, you know, like some more real thought leadership, because that's what was lacking.
We'll see. Okay, yeah. Coming back to questions from our users. I just want to ask you that one about an exchange in Mexico. Can you please comment on that?
Yeah. So we had a new listing there, and you know, I imagine we'll continue to sort of expand there. I know we have strong community in the LATAM region, and you know, we've got some great people sort of helping front that. I don't do that, nor do I speak any Spanish. So, you know, I'm not involved in the business, but, you know, of course, like, there's going to be more listings as you know, the project grows and as crypto in general grows in that LATAM region. We see more exchanges. We're happy to work with any exchange, you know, so and anyone in that matter, you know, like, if you have something innovative and you're hardworking and genuine person in the space, yes, we want to work with you. And, you know, most of our partners reflect that. So, you know, are there plans? Yes, there are plans. We have active business development people there who are expanding and working on that every day. So, yeah, I mean, I can't go into the details of it. I sit on the trading side of things, not the business development side, but I can tell you it exists and stuff is happening.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back to plans, but still, there is a question on symbol. What's the symbol vision? That's the first one. And the second one about symbol, more specific. This very question, look at this. When I read the white paper on symbol, I think it can be used instead of the Lmax infrastructure. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, no, great question. Great question. So there's like, well done on picking that up, because it was actually based on that infrastructure. And that's, you know, I can't say too much around it, but that's kind of the direction that Symbol's going to be taking. There will be a new white paper put out, you know, Christy, our CTO, is writing it at the moment, which will go into more depth specifically about this. But, you know, that's very exciting what you've noticed there, particularly in when you think about value exchange and tokenization, what we could achieve. You know, like, you could have, like, Symbol could end up being the global DEX for crypto, because you could have, you know, like think about Rune, right? Rune is for those of you who don't know, Rune's like a cross-chain DEX. It's very exciting what it's doing, but what symbol could end up being is like that, but on a whole other level, just because of how the infrastructure works and the fact that it is its own chain rather than an application. So it's at the protocol layer. And yeah, look, there is actually some really exciting stuff on this coming out. So stay tuned.
All right. Now, look, we haven't discussed the history of NEM. Probably you can say some words on that. And I know that NEM is a kind of fork of other cryptocurrency, which is called NXT, if I'm not mistaken, right? And the question from our user was the following. Every successful project has a few stories behind the scene. What's the story behind XEM Success?
So, yeah, look, NEM started as an idea on the Bitcoin Talk forum in 2014. It was one of the first proof-of-stake blockchains ever. It sort of had this revolutionary proof of importance algorithm. It actually attracted a lot of attention when it first listed. I think there was a bit of like a dark patch there for NEM when sort of, there was kind of just a bit of confusion between what the management was doing at the time, and you sort of saw that reflected in the price and the usage. So it was unfortunate. It kind of stalled the overall growth of the ecosystem. Last year, NEM Group sort of took the reins from the NEM Foundation, and NEM Group is what I'm a part of. And we've sort of been rebuilding everything, and Symbol's part of that. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the story. It's had its ups and downs. It's certainly on the up now, and we can see that with the adoption and the partnerships and just the release of the Symbol blockchain. So the future's bright, but it's definitely had its ups and downs in the past.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that you can join our Telegram, Twitter, and Reddit, and you can win just 100 NEM for a question. Just please don't hesitate to ask your questions. And please check that all of these questions are on our social networks, because we just need to find you if you just won the prize. Look, I just wanted to ask you about the difference between harvesting and traditional mining. So I know there is a difference. So can you comment on that?
So mining is with the proof of work, right?
Yeah.
Harvesting's proof of stake, essentially. You stake and like a number of tokens, and you earn a reward from that. So that's probably the easiest way to think about it. With the Symbol blockchain, we have delegated harvesting. So you can start a node, and anyone can sort of put their amount of Symbol tokens on there, whether it be small or large, and you can earn part of the block reward that way. So it just makes it kind of democratizes, proof of stake and or like just taking part in the consensus of the chain makes it easy for everyone, so more accessible.
Yeah, another question from our user about staking. Staking is one of the strategies to attract users and hold them long term. Does the great project have a plan about staking?
Yeah, I mean, so stake, it's proof of stake. So yeah, it's already doing that. Yeah. And we have multiple staking partners as well. If you don't want to get into like the minutia of setting up a node, or delegating your stake, you can go and join like a staking provider. Both XEM and XYM are listed with multiple staking providers, so you can get on there, and it's probably a little bit easier that way. But yeah, it is proof of stake, so it's built in at the protocol layer.
Great. Okay, yeah. Coming back to question from our live stream. So there is a really long one. Check this out. What is the exact situation that businesses require flexible and customizable solutions? Could you share some latest survey? Yeah, I think just users want to have some facts, probably. If you have any links or so, or probably you can refer them somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, so, I guess, like, this is, like both of the blockchains are sort of standalone blockchains that are decentralized and anyone can work on. We're not necessarily building on them, we're building the chain. So anyone can come and build their own solutions on there. Like some of the projects that we have on there recently that I know of, we have just sort of, in the process now of releasing NFTs with some like famous soccer players particularly from the English Premier League. We've released like security tokens, securitizing assets, and then, just standard blockchain applications. There's a variety of those on there. We have an NFT marketplace just deployed on Symbol. We have, I think there was like what were they? Some medical company just released an application on the Symbol chain. So, I mean, there's lots of use cases out there because anyone can build on it. It's not just us building it. We're just making it easier for people to build on there.
Yeah, sure. Okay, good. Some questions about Symbol. I can show you this one. Yeah. How you imagine Symbol in 5 years. So that's the first one. And the second one, so you can probably ask after that.
Yeah, I mean, I see it being like top 10 blockchain, and I see it sort of being used for like asset tokenization and transferring of assets as the global DEX.
Oh, okay, yeah. And another one about Symbol and Binance, yeah. Will it be listed on Binance?
Yeah, so
So
I can't know what Binance is going to do. We've provided all the necessary information to Binance on listing Symbol. They have integrated the wallet, and that's how they've allowed withdrawals because they did support the snapshot from XEM to XYM. So they've integrated the wallet. They have all the information there that they need. We are in talks with them. We've given them all the information that they require. It's up to the community to I guess show Binance that they want it listed, because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to with Binance. In general, like, it's not necessarily, listings aren't necessarily a quick process. It can take on average about 6 months for a project to list with Binance. So yeah, if you really want it on there, write to Binance. I can tell you right now that we've given them all the information they need to list it, and we're always happy to help provide more resources in terms of listing. Yeah,
as far as I understand, you're talking about 6 months, right?
Yeah.
I think it will be available quite soon on Guarda Wallet, guys, if you want to get it. So probably you can get it on Guarda Wallet, but not right now, probably a little bit later. And please stay tuned. So here are our social networks, so you can just subscribe to us and just have the recent updates about Guarda Wallet. And I want to remind everybody that you can win 100 NEM for a question. Like 5 questions will be awarded, so we'll choose them quite soon. Please be prepared with your questions. as for me, that's something like a fun question. You just need to choose one or just pick one from 4 options. The question is, which one of these aspects is important for you? The first one, increasing token price and value. The second one, empowering platform development. The third one, building community trust. And the fourth one, expanding partnership globally. Partnership globally. So that's it.
What was the second one?
Empowering platform development.
Yeah, number 2, obviously. So, you know, what a lot of people got to understand is a blockchain and an application can have like 1,000 partnerships. It can have a really high price, but if it doesn't have proper development going on, it's worthless, right? You know, it's just a bubble asset. So think about, like, you know, what we've just seen with some of these meme coins. They've shot right up and then they've absolutely collapsed. I mean, they had a high price, but there's actually no product there. It doesn't mean anything. If you go through and look at the market, well, the projects that have stayed around, and NEM being one of them, for that have had longevity, actually building something that can have people building on chain. So for me, the most important, and when I'm looking at other chains, you know, like I'm you know, when I'm trading this stuff and looking for other chains to invest in, that's the key metrics, or if not the most important metric, is you need to have development. You know, you need to have people building on it, people using it. So if that's not there, I mean, it's just vaporware, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually, as for key metrics, so there was another question from our user. Please tell the community what NEM is. So you have already answered that. And the second part of the question, what are the key features and benefits of NEM worth knowing for new users? So probably you have something more, no?
Yeah. So you know, it's important to sort of make the distinguish that NEM is the name of the ecosystem, and the ecosystem has 2 chains, NIS1, NIS1 with the XEM token, and symbol XYM token. NIS1 is the parent chain, I guess. It was founded in 2014, 2015, and you know, it has proof of importance algorithm, so it's really good for sort of reputation management and voting. Whereas the symbol blockchain is sort of the sort of newer chain. It was released this year. It has some more advanced features. It runs on proof of stake plus consensus algorithm. It's great for asset tokenization, but also it's like the way that its architecture works is it's great for transferring of assets as well. So it can be done quite fast and cheap.
Yeah, okay. I think that will be just a quick answer, just to clarify the situation. Yeah, that's kind of funny question. Yeah, is SAM associated with X-family?
Yeah. So we are the godfather of the X-family.
All right. Yeah. Look, I think it seems like we just run out of time. Yeah. The final questions. First of all, probably you can tell some words about the plans. And the question from user, Binance Smart Chain has transaction speed and cheap gas fees. Are you planning to launch your mainnet or switch to other blockchains in the future?
Yeah, I mean, so whoever asked this question probably hasn't really sort of done much research about what actually the NEM ecosystem is, because both the NIS1 chain and the symbol chain are mainnets, right? And they have their own functionality and use cases. You know, it's easy to say that like the Binance Smart Chain is cheap and fast, but it's not decentralized at all. And even then, it sort of has had issues. It's just a copy of the ETH chain, but all the nodes are sort of concentrated, so it can run. They can transact cheaper and faster. But yeah, if you like I would recommend sort of reading up a little bit about the ecosystem to sort of to learn more about what they can do.
You are head of trading, but still, there is a technical question. So probably, I don't know if you know the answer on that. So if you know the answer, that will be great.
Yeah, so we're actually going to be releasing a roadmap on exactly this. So, you know, stay tuned for that. It'll obviously be released through all of our channels when it's done. It's all still up for debate what it's going to do and like what it's going to be used for. But I really like the narrative that I like is the NIS1 chain being used as sort of the voting and reputation system for community governance. So like the governance chain of the ecosystem. But, you know, again, it's all up for debate at the moment, but there will be a roadmap released once it's finalized.
Great. Yeah, I think that will be the last questions from users. Yeah, I just need to ask that. Adoption and awareness about platform is very important for any creator as well as users. So what about that? Do you understand the question?
Yeah. So what are your plans to attract more users? Continually to build out the chain, bring more applications and projects on board. You know, the network effects will attract more users. You know, we have a lot of partnerships. You know, part of it is sort of, you know, it's community driven. We have a large community. Part of it's them building on chain as well. So Kuldeep, if you want to see more adoption and awareness, get involved. Help build.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's all about questions. So I have the last question for you, but probably we can just we need just choose 5 best questions that which were asked, and then I can ask you the last one.
Okay. So do I pick the 5 questions or?
Yeah, just 5 questions.
Yeah. Well, the person who read the white paper picked up on the Lmax. That's the definite winner because they actually took the time to research and understand it. So obviously they know what they're doing. You know, I really appreciate when people sort of take the time to learn about this stuff rather than just mindlessly follow like buy things that they've heard a YouTuber talk about. I can't stress that enough. You know, we won't have massive drawdowns like we just have had, like these 50% drawdowns, if we had more rational investors who actually had an understanding of what's going on. So that guy wins. Can we give him 2 points?
If you want to, yeah, like 2 points. Yeah, 2 points goes to his nickname is a Hexagon TR.
There you go, Hexagon. 2 points for you.
2 points to Hexagon. Okay, good.
Yeah, and then that question with the 4 options.
Okay, yeah, we just need to check the nickname of this guy or this girl. Yeah, I'll check it later probably. Okay. Ria BTC. Okay.
Cool. And what else? Was there a question about the market in there?
Once again?
Someone asked a question about the market.
But the market, do you mean like was it bearish or bullish? I'm afraid that was a question for me.
No, well, you get a point then.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Well, see, I don't remember many more of the questions. So I've picked two. Hex gets 2 points. So there's two questions left to give points to. But
we have one more. One more?
No, like Tell me some more of the questions. I can't remember all.
Yeah, I can remind you. So there was a question about the difference between XEM, XEM, and your token. Then there was a question about the contribution, the question about the history of the project, then about the current situation about partnerships we asked, the question about COVID-19, then about staking. What else did we have? We spoke about community. So, and about plans for the future, about Binance.
Yeah. So the person who asked the Binance question, I mean, yeah, they can have one, and then the COVID question, I guess.
COVID question, yeah. And yeah. I just want to be correct. What about Binance? So we had a question about Binance Smart Chain and transaction speed and gas fees and so on, and your plans. And we had a question.
It was the person who's asking about the listing.
About the listing, great.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so cool. So we have all the winners. Please, guys, check that all of these questions are in our social network so we can find you easily and give you rewards. And Nick, the final question is for you. That's our traditional question. Just try to imagine that you have a superpower in the crypto industry. What would it be, and what would you change?
Okay, a superpower in the crypto industry.
Yeah.
I guess my superpower would be to be able to get rid of all of the meme coin buyers and bring like rational investors to the market. That would be my power. And I could pull that whenever the market was getting too overheated. I could snap my fingers and rationality would resume.
Okay, thank you so much. That was really interesting. That was my pleasure to be here and speaking with you. Yeah. That was Nick Pelecanos, Head of Trading, NEM. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
See you later.